My name is Caden Standridge, and I am the owner and founder of Saga Esports Club. The purpose of today's video is kind of give our followers and viewers a little insight into the inspiration behind our logo, color scheme, and just the art direction we've been using so far. Branding in esports has always been super interesting to me. Anyone who knows me over the past 10 years knows that I've come up with a lot of different logos and concepts. Just something I'm super passionate about. I love branding, I love graphics, art. Even though I can't do it myself and I'm not much of a drawer, it always has been something that I'm super passionate about, and coming up with different brands. There's some brands today that I've helped build as far as like their logos and color schemes that are still being used today. And I'm going to kind of go over some of the ones I had made over the past couple years that maybe got scrapped, as well as maybe even show you some jerseys I've had made that almost made it to what would have been Saga, but we decided to go in a different direction, obviously, and you're seeing that brand today. So always wanted to kind of see this from an esports org and kind of like their thought process and how they brainstormed coming up with their branding. I know a lot of them use brands like Paper Crowns or Creative Grenade to make their logos and to hire that third party to get it done. So for a brand that's trying to really tell our story and let our viewers and followers kind of see us from the beginning, right? Like you saw me in last week or the week before, whenever this video comes out, but in our first video, you kind of got to see why I made the decision I did to leave Bittersweet and to start Saga and kind of tell that story. And now you're getting to see that next story of how I came up with this brand and who I worked with and kind of my inspiration behind it. And I think that's something super important as we try and build a following and a fan base that people want to get behind because they feel like they've seen that brand from the beginning. That's something I'm really passionate about and working on, because I know it's something I would have loved to see with some of the top esports brands of today. I know some of them do a lot of good org content, but I think we missed a lot of that planning and a lot of that inspiration behind it all from the very beginning. And that's something I don't want to skip out on and not share with you guys, because I think where it all starts is where a lot of the fun happens, and kind of gives you that identity to the fans and really connects you guys. So that's something I'm working on, and I would love to get some feedback on maybe even some more videos in the future of what it's like starting an esports company and starting from the very bottom and working your way up as you build a following. It's not something easy, but I think it's something super fun and exciting to do, and I know I'm really excited. So hopefully you watch the video, enjoy it. Please leave some comments and likes, and maybe something you want to see next from us. Thank you. The first step to getting our branding done was hitting up my guy Brio on Twitter through a DM. This guy has been doing countless logo work for me for the past 3 to 5 years, and I cannot recommend him enough. He is always willing to make edits, make suggestions on concepts, or even make some edits later on after looking at the logo, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and just feeling like I needed an adjustment to a color or the way it's set up. So I can't recommend him enough. He also has really fair pricing compared to a lot of competitors in the industry. Now, I'm not saying that some of those guys don't deserve what they're getting paid and what they're asking for, but with someone as talented as Brio and the prices he's offering, I mean, you can't beat it, and that's why he's gotten a lot of my work today. And if I ever needed another logo, this is the guy I'm going to, and maybe you should too if you're looking at starting an esports brand or just need maybe a logo done for your own personal business. After coming up with some concepts, I shot them over to Brio, and he went straight to work on it for me. It took about a week or two to bring it to life, enough for me to decide if it was the direction I wanted to move forward with. Now, you may find some consistencies in a few of these, and the most notable being the Norse mythology, Viking-style direction. I've always been a huge fan of that lore and history since I was a little kid, and when God of War moved into Norse mythology for God of War 2019, it became one of my favorite series of all time. I just love the aesthetic and atmosphere, and you can do some really cool things with the branding. A Viking head logo was a must. Now, I know a lot of esports orgs are moving away from the mascot style logo for branding purposes, but I think this is simple and clean enough to make some really cool things, and it's so versatile for some amazing colorways on merch. Of course, every brand needs a text-based logo for the name, so within a day or two, my man Brio came through again, and it was love at first sight with this one. I just loved how clean it was. I don't think we had any revisions necessary for it. Last but not least was our secondary logo, and Brio produced some fire yet again. I wanted an S logo with a sword somehow, and he did it perfect. I really like the style of the S, as well as how he incorporated the sword into it. Nothing overly complex here, but nothing too simple either. It really came out clean. The next step was coming up with our color scheme. Brio at this point probably wanted to reach through our DMs and choke me, because I must have not only scrapped multiple logo concepts at this point, but brand names and color schemes as well. Finally, it hit me. Anybody who knows Viking history knows that many of them originated from the Iceland and Norway area. And you guessed it, that's where the Northern Lights is super visible, and maybe the best place to see it. It's definitely on my bucket list someday to check out. But that green in the Northern Lights has already inspired me for some cool color schemes on jerseys, as well as some merch, and I couldn't be more excited to move to that next step with Saga. Last but not least is the name. Now, you may have seen in a few other logos we had that we went through a few different name changes and even had a couple jerseys made to see it come to life, but they just weren't hitting like I wanted. After really coming to terms with what my goal is with this new brand, it finally hit me. I want to tell a story, and with it, help others tell theirs. So I Google translated story in Old Norse, and there it was, Saga. It was perfect, short, simple, and not used as far as I know by any pro or semi-pro teams and organizations. And that's the story. That's how we came up with not only the logo, but the name as well. The brand represents what I am passionate about, as well as identifies with goals for its future. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you could do me a favor and hit that like button, it would really help us out. Maybe even drop us a sub.
Hey babe, the Rainbow 16's been trying to call you.
Perfect.